Hi everyone, this is a quick video on how to modify your open level yoga classes after giving birth. So you might have taken a few postnatal yoga classes and you're starting to feel good in your body maybe 3 months after, 6 months after. It's really going to depend on you, your yoga practice beforehand, the type of birth, the complications, the healing capacity of your tissues, etc. But you might be thinking, I want to go to an open level vinyasa class. And these are some of the pointers to look out for as you attend such a class. So maybe start by going to somewhat softer yoga classes. Also the length, you might have to build up to going back to 90-minute classes, so maybe 45-minute, 60-minute classes where you can work your back on your stamina. And that's one thing. One of the most common questions I probably get asked is, when can I plank after giving birth? And the answer is, it depends, right? So one thing you want to look out for is, let's say you're doing a modified plank on hands and knees. You can always practice here to make sure your core is engaged. So you're not hanging in your joints, your belly is not hanging. Let's go into a full plank. You can see a little bit better is maybe something like this, that your abdominals are not engaged. So we want the opposite. We want maybe a slight puffing of the back, tailbone reaching towards the heels. When you look down at your belly and you see doming, that means it's only your six-pack muscles that are sort of popping out and the rest of the belly is not really engaged. That's a sign that your core hasn't fully integrated yet. It could be that it was like that already before pregnancy, but this is a good time for you to actually start building on your abdominals in a more holistic way. We want the TAs and the deeper abdominals and your psoas, etc., to engage, that you can kind of keep integrated core as you do planks, etc. If that's not the case, just modify your planks. You can go on your hands and knees, move through knees, chest and chin, etc. as you move through your vinyasa. Which brings me to the next point, being back bends. So at first, I would advise when you do your vinyasas to go through knees, chest and chin. Just is going to help you to not go into a full plank. And then once you're down, also a little cobra. So this helps us to open through the chest and start to engage the back muscles without going into a deep back bend. Another deep back bend being the problem, again, that we're pulling strain on those abdominal muscles. And the relaxin, the hormone that was there to help us create space for the baby, to help us create space for the vaginal canal during birth, etc., that hormone is still going to be in your bloodstream for the next 8 months for sure. Some people say even 2 years. So anything stretchy, overstretchy, especially in the abdominals, you can keep it easy. Yeah, so that's one area. So just modifying, if there's an option to go into full wheel, just going into a bridge pose, right? Another one that's just great for allowing the pelvic floor muscles to come back towards the abdominals as opposed to being pushed down. So you can always do this as opposed to a full wheel. When you come up, especially for the first 3 months, coming up through the side, so no rocking back and forth. Another area that we want to look out for is twists. So this is maybe a little less obvious, but you can imagine your organs have been moved around, smooshed around for quite a bit during pregnancy, and they haven't yet fully found their own groove. So when it comes to twists, just staying slightly soft, getting a sense that you can move from your own core through the integrity, as opposed to really yanking yourself deeper into twists. That's one area that you can look out for. Another thing that bothered me, or I had quite a bit of issues, is the brittleness of the inner thighs. So pelvic floor and the inner lines of your legs are deeply connected. And so postures like triangle pose or anything that involves stretching and also strengthening in your side body. One of the hardest postures for me was actually fallen triangle on the back inner thigh. Like I said, pelvic floor and inner lines are deeply connected, and after pregnancy, it's almost like the muscles are brittle. So they're both short and weak. So giving those muscles time to build strength. So maybe fallen triangle, even though it's working on side planks are generally safe after pregnancy. If you feel a little bit it's too brittle, it's not working, go for this variation and maybe start pressing the back foot into the floor to activate through the inner thigh. Same thing, stretching the inner thighs, keep some engagement, make it soft. You don't have to force your body to go back to what it was super quickly. If you look back in the long run, the health and longevity of your body is going to be much more important than quick fixes to get back to a feeling of what things were before. They're never going to be the way that they were before because you're a mom now, or maybe you're a mom of 2 kids or 3 kids or however many. And that is always a huge change in your life. So postnatal yoga, whether you do it in a postnatal class or an open level class, is always about self-compassion, getting to know yourself as the new you that you are, being compassionate, and also really curious and just proud of yourself for not just juggling your own body, but also the body of someone else. So that's a tall order. So please be kind to yourself. And yeah, let me know if I had missed out on something. Of course, the pelvic floor, like I said, is weak after birth. So really using the breath, maybe waiting for the exhale to lift up into a high lunge. Maybe you came forward and you want to lift up into a high lunge. You can always use your hands, inhale and then exhale. The exhale always engages the pelvic floor a little bit more. So generally it's safer to move on the exhale than on the inhale. Good. So I hope this is helpful, and I wish you a wonderful postpartum journey, and congrats on becoming a mom.